There is a three-word question that the $45 billion car dealership industry in America has spent decades and hundreds of millions of dollars in sales training programs teaching their employees to deflect, redirect, and bury under paperwork, small talk, and the exhaustion of a 4-hour negotiation. 3 words. And if you ask them at the right moment in the right way, the salesperson across the desk will either go pale, change the subject, or disappear to talk to their manager for 20 minutes. The question is this: what is holdback? Not the sticker price, not the invoice price, not the dealer fee or the destination charge or the documentation fee. Holdback. A payment that the manufacturer sends directly to the dealership after the sale closes. A payment that does not appear on any document you will ever see. That is calculated as a percentage of the vehicle's total price, and that represents money the dealer has already pocketed before you even sat down at the negotiating table. The average new car in America costs approximately $48,000 in 2024, according to Kelley Blue Book. The holdback on that vehicle is typically 2 to 3% of the manufacturer's suggested retail price, or in some cases, the invoice price, depending on the manufacturer. On a $48,000 car, 2 to 3% is $960 to $1,440. That money goes directly from the manufacturer to the dealership, invisibly, after the transaction is complete. It exists specifically to give dealers a profit cushion that allows them to appear to sell a car at invoice price, or even below invoice price, while still making money. It is a structural deception built into the pricing architecture of every major automotive brand in America, and it has been operating this way since the 1970s. Welcome to the Invisible Ledger. If these stories matter to you, hit subscribe and the bell. This is where we trace the money they told you not to follow. The dealer holdback system has its roots in the post-World War II expansion of the American automobile industry. As the economy boomed and car ownership became central to American identity, manufacturers and dealers developed increasingly sophisticated pricing structures designed to give dealers flexibility while protecting manufacturer margins. By the 1960s and 1970s, holdbacks had become a standard feature of manufacturer-dealer agreements across the industry. The concept is simple. The manufacturer charges the dealer an invoice price for the vehicle, but simultaneously, the manufacturer agrees to rebate a percentage of that price back to the dealer at the end of each quarter or each month. This rebate is the holdback. The holdback percentage varies by manufacturer. General Motors historically has offered a holdback of 3% of the MSRP. Ford has used a holdback of 3% of the base MSRP. Toyota's holdback has been 2% of the base invoice price. Honda has used 2 to 3%. Chrysler, now Stellantis, has used 3% of the invoice price. These figures are not secret in the sense that they are unpublished. They are documented in industry publications like Edmunds, Consumer Reports, and TrueCar, but they are never disclosed at the point of sale. No salesperson will volunteer this information, no sticker on the window mentions it, and no federal law requires dealers to disclose holdback to consumers. Here is why this matters at the negotiating table. When you walk into a dealership and attempt to negotiate, the salesperson will eventually offer to show you the dealer invoice, the document showing what the dealership paid the manufacturer for the vehicle. This is presented as the ultimate transparency, the floor below which no reasonable dealer can go. You are seeing their cost. Anything above invoice is their profit. Anything at invoice is a break, even. So you negotiate toward invoice and feel like you won. What you were never told is that the dealer is not actually paying invoice price. They are paying invoice price minus the holdback, which will be refunded after the sale. Their real cost is invoice minus holdback. If the invoice on your car is $45,000 and the holdback is 3%, the dealer's actual cost is approximately $43,650. When you negotiate to invoice and shake hands at $45,000, the dealer has already secured a $1,350 profit that you never knew was on the table. Before I go further, this video is just the surface. Inside the Invisible Ledger Vault, you will find the complete manufacturer holdback percentage chart for every major brand, the exact script for negotiating below invoice, the dealer cost calculation worksheet, and the 12 additional hidden profit centers in a car deal that you can use as leverage. The link is in the description, but stay right here. The holdback is not the only invisible profit center in a car transaction. The automotive retail industry has engineered an extraordinary number of ways to extract money from a transaction that appears transparent. Dealer reserve is the markup a dealer adds to the interest rate on your auto loan. If your credit qualifies you for a 5% rate from the lender, the dealer may quote you 6.5% and pocket the difference for the life of the loan. On a $40,000 vehicle financed over 60 months, that 1.5% dealer reserve amounts to over $1,500 in additional profit paid by you to the dealer. The Federal Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has challenged dealer reserve practices in the context of discriminatory lending, but the practice itself remains legal and widespread. Documentation fees, also called doc fees, are charged for processing paperwork. In states like Florida and California, these fees can legally reach $800 to $1,000. The actual cost to the dealer of processing paperwork is estimated by industry insiders at between $50 and $100. The rest is pure margin. Dealer-installed options including paint protection, fabric protection, window tinting, and nitrogen in the tires are often installed before you arrive and added to the sticker price, making them appear mandatory. The actual cost of these packages to the dealer is typically a fraction of what they charge. Advertising fees, sometimes called regional advertising fees, are added to the invoice and may or may not represent real costs. And the finance and insurance office, the F&I room, where you sign the final paperwork, is designed to sell extended warranties, gap insurance, credit life insurance, and service packages at margins that often exceed the profit on the car itself. According to the National Automobile Dealers Association, the average dealership generated over $54 million in total revenue in 2023. The finance and insurance department accounted for a disproportionate share of net profit, often representing over 40% of a dealership's total earnings, despite being a fraction of total revenue. The car is sometimes almost a loss leader for the F&I office. If you have made it this far, you already know more about dealer economics than 99% of the 60 million Americans who buy or lease a vehicle each year. Subscribe and share this video. Now, let me give you the exact steps to use this knowledge. Step 1. Research the true dealer cost before you set foot in a showroom. Use Edmunds, TrueCar, or Consumer Reports to find the invoice price and the known holdback percentage for the specific vehicle you want. Your target negotiating floor is invoice price minus holdback, minus any additional manufacturer incentives or rebates currently in market. Step 2. Get competing quotes in writing from multiple dealerships for the exact same vehicle, including the VIN number. Dealers in the same region compete for the same allocation and will often beat each other's prices when they know they are competing. Email negotiation is highly effective because it removes the time pressure and emotional exhaustion of the showroom. Step 3. When you are ready to negotiate in person, ask directly, what is the holdback on this vehicle? Observe the reaction. Some salespeople will not know, some will deflect, some will acknowledge it. The question itself signals that you understand their cost structure and will not be managed by invoice theater. Step 4. Negotiate on the out-the-door price, not the monthly payment. Dealers shift your focus to monthly payments because they can hide profit in the loan term, the interest rate, and the trade-in value simultaneously. Agree on the total price of the vehicle before discussing financing, trade-in, or any add-ons. Step 5. In the finance office, decline add-ons you do not want. You're allowed to say no to every product in the F&I room. Extended warranties can often be purchased later directly from the manufacturer at lower prices. Gap insurance, if you need it, is available through your own auto insurer at a fraction of the dealership price. Step 6. If you're financing through the dealer, ask them to show you the buy rate, the rate the lender actually approved, before they quote you a final rate. This eliminates dealer reserve entirely. The total cost of this knowledge is zero. The total savings on a single vehicle purchase, including holdback recovery, elimination of dealer reserve, and declining unnecessary F&I products, can range from $2,000 to $8,000 on a typical transaction. I need to be honest with you. This is not a guarantee that you will buy a car at dealer cost. First, in a low inventory market, dealers have significant pricing power. When demand exceeds supply, as it did during the 2021 and 2022 chip shortage, dealers charged above MSRP and holdback negotiation became irrelevant. Market conditions matter. Second, some manufacturers use different holdback structures or have eliminated traditional holdbacks in favor of other incentive programs. Always verify current holdback data before negotiating. Third, being adversarial in a negotiation can backfire. The goal is not to humiliate the salesperson. It is to negotiate based on accurate information about the true cost structure. A professional informed buyer gets better results than an aggressive one. Fourth, the F&I products are not always worthless. A well-structured extended warranty from a reputable provider can be genuinely valuable, particularly on vehicles with higher maintenance complexity. Evaluate each product on its merits. And fifth, the used car market has different economics. Holdback applies to new vehicles sold by franchise dealers. Used vehicles are priced on market comparables, and the negotiating leverage comes from different information sources. Your grandparents bought cars from neighbors, from dealers they had known for decades in towns small enough that a dishonest transaction had social consequences. The pricing was visible, and the relationship was real. Then the automobile industry scaled, consolidated, and engineered pricing complexity, specifically designed to extract maximum value from a consumer who walks in knowing almost nothing about the economics of the transaction. There was not a more honest system, there was just a smaller one where you could not be anonymous enough to be deceived at scale. Subscribe and share this video. Every share puts the holdback question in the hands of someone sitting across from a dealer right now. The next vault opens soon. And what is inside will show you a legal structure from the 1800s that can make your home completely invisible to creditors, lawyers, and public property searches for less than the cost of a registration renewal. Corte aquí.